What the hell are we supposed to use, man? Harsh language?
Where would you put a
In the
body
hole.
if you were gonna hide a body and you had a giant fucking pit in your backyard? You throw it
Probably
in
the
the hole.
endless pit.
Yeah,
Throw it in the
just
hole.
throw it in the pit. So Outer Range is a show. Now this is an example of a show or just a movie or anything where a trailer really fucking hypes the shit up, and I don't think that the show was really in line with what they showcased in the trailer. Now, I'm not saying it was misleading or anything, but I
Okay.
definitely got a different vibe of what the show was going to be from what I thought it was going to be from watching the trailer. And that's my own stupid fault for watching trailers, I guess. But yeah, so let's talk about Outer Range. So this is a show, again, starring Josh Brolin, and he is a ranch owner, John Dutton wannabe, if you will. And part of me wonders if like any of the marketing of this show was like meant to attract some Yellowstone like fans.
100%.
This land, this family, it's always been kind of like a dream to me. I don't know, part of me, I guess, figured one day I'd wake up.
Royal was like, he's like a baby John Dutton. Like it's like not even close.
Right.
Like the stuff that John Dutton, I mean, we don't have to go into Yellowstone, but
Yeah, no, I get you.
the stuff that he got away with alone, it's like
Well, he's John Dutton.
he's fucking John Dutton. Yeah.
So we got, as you said, Josh Brolin here is Royal Abbott, and the description of the show says a rancher fighting for his land and family discovers an unfathomable mystery at the edge of Wyoming's wilderness, and unfathomable is, I guess, pretty accurate.
That's actually the
Yep.
perfect word.
Yeah. Episode 1, this man finds a fucking gigantic hole in his land at the board, like the edge of his property. And there's some weird stuff going on in nature, you know, the usual sci-fi
Yes.
stuff that that one could expect. And that kind of sets the tone.
I initially thought when Royal fell in this that he was like transported to an alternate dimension. Did you guys know right away that it was the future, or what were your initial theories like when you guys first saw it?
Well, Dusty and I spent the majority of the show, because we watched it together, theorizing on what it was. I initially thought it was an alternate dimension as well.
Yeah,
But
the multiverse or the future. We were
Something
talking
like
about
that.
both as we were
Yeah.
watching it.
But you soon find out that it's some sort of like sort of rift in time, basically. And he doesn't go into the hole willingly. He gets fucking thrown in. So in the beginning of this show, a stranger played by Imogen Poots, I hope I'm pronouncing that right. Imogen.
That's correct. Imogen Poots.
She plays a character named Autumn, and she looks sort of like a backpacker, some weary traveler, and she arrives at the Abbott Ranch, and she's looking for a place to crash, and she kind of makes a deal with him of like, hey, could I stay on your land for a period of time? And he's like, yeah, sure, whatever. But you get the sense very quickly that she's sort of a fucking weirdo. She's definitely up to no good, because she's like making these like side comments about like how much money would it take to buy the ranch and all this stuff. So you get the impression pretty quickly that she's there for nefarious reasons.
I'm looking for the Abbott Ranch.
Yeah, we're not a tourist ranch.
Come on, I was looking at camp. Only be a few days. Autumn.
Royal.
Glad to finally meet you.
Yeah, I thought she was there to start a cult or something initially. Like
That's what
she
I
was
thought.
very culty. Like she's gonna just like start a cult on these lands, and they're gonna be sacrificing. I don't know what the fuck's going on. The whole is like a god, like all these things. But of course, you later find out more.
So the cult thing is interesting because they actually literally show her in a cult when Royal Josh Brolin goes into the pit, who she throws him into the pit, by the way. But he sees her almost like as a cult leader. She's wearing like the yellow robes and like all this weird shit going on. But how we arrive there, there is a rival family sort of living nearby on another ranch. And there's some just like rich pricks and their father's
The
out of his mind.
Tillersons.
Oh, is that their
Will Patton.
Tillersons, yeah.
Yeah.
Yes.
Will Patton playing the father, Wayne Tillerson. Love Will Patton.
He's so good.
Yeah. So he knows that there's some weird shit going on, and he wants that plot of land.
I want that land.
Why?
what sets the stage really for the whole show or this whole first season is that Royal Abbott's children are out at a bar, and they get into a little scuffle with one of Will Patton's kids, and tensions flare, and one of Will Patton's kids gets punched in the throat and killed. So shit happens sometimes when you're drunk, and Josh Brolin and the rest of the family sort of help cover it up. And of course, where does the body go? Where would you put a body if you were going to hide a body and you had a giant fucking pit in your backyard? You're throwing it in the hole.
Endless pit.
Yeah, just throw it in the pit. But much to their dismay, the body shows up. It reappears, seemingly untouched, undecayed from the moment he threw it in, up on the mountain somewhere. And this sets the tone. This sets the stage for this police investigation. Will Patton's family is suspicious of Josh Brolin's family, rightfully so.
Yeah, the brothers.
Yeah, and that's kind of the whole thing.
Yeah.
So this show is fucking weird.
The show has so many scenes where you're just like, what the fuck is going on in this show? I don't know how
Billy
many times
standing in
I
front of the
said, "What
mirror in
fuck?"
his underwear singing to himself.
Call me angel of the morning, angel.
Please, can you quit it?
I want to give a special shout out to him, Billy. Billy is played by Noah Reed, whom is in Schitt's Creek, which is one of the best shows out there ever. If you haven't seen Schitt's Creek, go watch it. But in Schitt's Creek, he plays like literally the nicest guy possible. And this is such a departure from that I didn't even know it was fucking him at first. And then I realized, and I was like, oh my God. But he plays just a weird singing freak, basically. And
he's a really good singer.
He's not bad. You're not wrong.
Yeah.
Why are you here?
You see that? I've been drawing it for years, and now I see it all over the place here.
You stay away from her, you understand? And that goes for everyone.
Well, I mean, basically it's Autumn, aka Amy, because at the end we find out that it's actually the granddaughter. Because
big reveal.
We also find out, big reveal. So Royal actually came through the hole as a 9-year-old kid, and like we had some clues, I guess, along the show, but we didn't really pick up on, because when he was talking to his granddaughter when he was sitting down eating ice cream, he said something like, "Did I ever tell you that I didn't ever eat ice cream until I was 12 years old?" And you're like, well, that's kind of weird. Why? It's because ice cream wasn't around, because he's like from the 1800s.
But yeah, so folks, at the end of the show, it's revealed that Josh Brolin as a child went hunting with his father in the fucking 1800s, shot and killed his father by accident, and then ran away from home and fell into this hole and arrived in the 1960s.
When he climbed out, Will Patton, aka Wayne Tillerson, was standing there, so Will saw him. So this is like how these two came to be like a bit of rivalry. Like, I don't think that he knew that it was Royal, but he just saw somebody crawl out of the hole and it freaked him out. And the land dispute came into play, but
I don't think he knew. I also think something happened, because you would think he would remember, someone climbing out of a hole, right? But something happened when he touched him with whatever that shit is in the hole, and it made his memory. He lost his memory, so he like subconsciously knows there's something there, but he doesn't know until he finds it later on.
Well,
right, where the ranch hand brought him the geode with the black stuff in it. He's like, where he found this, and he said, over by the west pasture or whatever, where the hole is.
What's your west pasture? Because of what's your west pasture?
More west.
You tell me.
Yeah, so there's this like weird goo that exists in this fucking hole. It kind of reminds me of like the Venom symbiote from Marvel.
Yes.
And it's almost like they're being like, it's like they're being touched by time. It's like the liquid is like time itself. I don't know. They haven't really explained it or what it is or how it operates, but when it touches somebody, it sort of like gets absorbed into their body and they experience like time. Like in Josh Brolin's case, he sees the future. In Will Patton's case, similar. It's very strange.
Yep.
Yeah. Well, at the beginning, there's that quote. They talk about the Greek god Kronos or whatever, right?
Mm-hmm.
I'll just read the quote.
Oh,
he carried a sickle. he used it to cut a tear in the cosmos between heaven and earth, and that was how they start off the show. I think they ended that way too.
Hmm.
So I thought that was a pretty good thing to pick up on.
So the other thing in this show, speaking of time, we have another character in the show. She's actually running for sheriff of this town, and she's played by Tamara Podemsky, and she's Deputy Sheriff Joy. So she's the interim sheriff at the moment, or deputy sheriff, and she's running to become the main sheriff, but she's a Native American, and there's like this sort of racial tension thing going on. It seems like they didn't super go into detail on that part of it, but she's also part of the LGBT community, and there's that tension as well. So like some of the townspeople
Which they
don't
did
want
touch
her.
on.
Yeah, that they
Yeah.
did.
They did, yeah.
Because she took her girlfriend to church with the kid, and to try and get votes, and the guy got up and he made a prayer to, it was the Christian
Basically
forsaking that lifestyle, hate the sinner, not the sin.
Right.
It was pretty sad, but yeah.
Now she experiences something weird. She actually finds this like trail of fucking time goo, and she follows it towards the end of this season, and she sees a fucking, not only a herd of wild fucking buffalo, which clearly don't exist in modern day anymore, but she sees this huge like Native American encampment, a bunch of teepees and stuff, and like, so.
Well, with that, did you guys catch that when she followed the trail of goo, I feel like she's on the Tillerson land, right?
Yeah, for sure.
She's following, right? And then where she gets to is what I think, I don't know if this is correct or not. This is the Tillerson's house where she's seeing all the bison, and where she's seeing like Native American people with all the camps and whatever, right? And they do that cut to the scene where the microwave is shaking. So it's like it's literally right there, as if the ground is shaking because of the bison running, but she's back, she's in the past. And that's how I saw. I don't know if that's how it actually was, but
everybody experiences the buffalo. One of Josh Brolin's children, another one of the characters in the show, Lewis Pullman, is the actor.
Right.
He plays Rhett Abbott. He's driving home with his girlfriend. Shout out for my girl Maria. And they almost get trampled by the fucking herd. And so a few people experience it. The way I took it is that, so Josh Brolin has jumped forward in time each time he's gone through it. As a child, he jumped to the 1960s, where he met his wife Cecilia and joined the Abbott family and now lives his life. When he gets thrown into it by Imogen Poots as Autumn, this in present day, he jumps forward.
He goes 2 years in the future.
2 years into the future. So I'm wondering if it affects people differently. And as far as the bison, or whatever they are, buffalo, and the Native American encampment, that very much seems to me like time is sort of bleeding through.
Right.
So the past is bleeding through. So I'm not 100% clear if this is like I don't think it functions with like a rule of like, oh, you go through and you're in the future, or you go through and you're in the past.
Hello. Something is coming. Something is happening.
The biggest question mark for me was Autumn, or Amy, because at the end of the season, like, she sees her mom, who's been missing for 9 months,
right?
Perry's wife,
and
she sees her, but you come to find out at the end, it's actually Autumn Rivers, the girl who's been camping on the land the whole time. She's older, so she doesn't remember anything. She says she woke up in a hospital at 12 years old, and the only thing she could remember was her name.
Hold on a second.
Yeah.
Hold on. The woman that came to collect the little girl at the fucking
the rodeo.
The rodeo.
That was Perry's wife.
Perry's wife.
Rebecca.
Right, her mom.
Yeah.
Okay, you confused me for a second. Okay, yeah.
Yeah.
So we come to find out that the daughter is actually Imogen Poots. Imogen Poots is her grown up. So
right.
So
she went back in time.
No,
because she's all
she's gone forward.
She's all grown up.
But she's here
She's all
from
grown
the
up.
future. Oh yeah, she came from the future.
She's
Right,
all
right, right.
grown up,
Yeah,
and
yeah,
she's
yeah.
still interacting with her 12-year-old self.
Yes, yes.
So we don't know what happened to her as a 12-year-old after she leaves with her mom. She got in some accident or something, and then somehow she time traveled back to where we are right now
Yeah.
as an adult.
Which is
So
interesting
that's
because
that's the biggest question for me is like what happened to her? Why doesn't she remember anything? Why does she think her name is Autumn Rivers? Why
So
she's taking drugs for bipolar disorder. She's doing. I mean, like that was like the biggest.
hold
like,
on one second.
What
So
the fuck is going on with this girl?
I think one of the big questions is if Autumn is actually Amy, and Autumn knows that she's Amy, and she knows that Royal is her grandfather. Why is she trying to kill Royal? Is it because Royal needs to die in order for the ranch to be like saved, or is it because she somehow became so corrupted with her cult in the future that uh she goes back and she's trying to make sure that she gets control of the land? Like,
Mhm.
I don't really understand why she would want to kill her grandfather if she knows that that's her grandfather.
I don't think she knows.
Well, hang on one second. So I think this is a point for me that I was unclear on, and it seems like there's obviously a discrepancy between the three of us. And I don't know if it's the show's fault or just we're all dumbasses. But so I was never clear on whether or not she knew that she was Royal's granddaughter.
She said she doesn't remember anything before she was 12 years old, but being on the land was starting to bring memories back.
Okay.
And she was always looking at the symbol when she was talking to Amy herself as a younger kid. Amy's like, well, that's our ranch brand. So that's like, just almost like she was drawn to this place, but she didn't know why. And now
Oh, okay.
and I don't think she ever actually put it together like that this is me as my younger self or anything like that. But
Right.
she was for some reason drawn to this place, and she's not figuring out why. But then she said she's starting to pick up the pieces, so maybe she figured out at the end, but I don't think so, because
Okay.
I think she would have
I
said
don't know.
something.
Whatever is going to happen, presumably in season 2, and whatever the reason is that her mother left, is going to play into this, because when she shows up to the ranch, it's a mystery for her too. She knows
Yes.
that the symbol is in her dreams. She knows that she wants to buy the ranch, but she doesn't quite know why that she's drawn
Right.
to this place, like Dusty just said. But
But she's able to time
She
travel
literally
without
said she was
knowing
there looking for
this stuff?
clarity, right? At the beginning when she wanted to camp.
yes,
She's like,
yes,
I'm looking for absolution or clarity or to find myself.
But it would make sense as to why she's in a cult, because if you're fucking having dreams about a fucking place you've never been or symbols you've never seen, you're clearly going to be given medication, and you're clearly going to like think it's like some like I could see why a cult would have formed around it, where because she doesn't know how to explain it, right? And then the
Yeah.
people around her and her family don't know how to explain it, so they're just going to chalk it up to her being crazy and give her fucking crazy pills. So that all now
But-
makes sense to me.
But still, there's the whole of how does she not know any of this? But did she accidentally time travel?
Well, we
or
don't
jump
know
into
if
a hole, or
we don't know that she specifically time traveled. We
Yeah,
just
that's
Yes,
what
we
I'm
do,
like.
though, right?
That's
If
the
she's
biggest question
Amy.
mark of the show. We have no idea
No.
why she doesn't remember anything, where she went with her mom, and how she time traveled. These are all unanswered
Well,
questions.
she had
that
to
we're
have
like,
time travel. That's what
Oh
I'm
yeah,
saying.
you're right.
yes,
she had
she
to.
100% had to have time.
Yeah, that's what I'm
traveled, yes.
saying.
Well, anyway, this is a great segue for what my problem was with this show.
Too
I
many unanswered questions.
no, I
Yeah.
might be dumb, but I've always historically just disliked things that are like just so muddy.
Too convoluted.
Not
Yes.
even convoluted, just very like purposefully confusing. You know,
Yeah.
like movies that have like these weird, like ambiguous, like open-ended endings where you're kind of just like, what? And you're left to like interpret things to yourself, like on your own, which is I'm fine with. I'm fine with, like, again, I said this last episode, I'm pretty sure, like
Yeah.
leaving things open for interpretation. It's a cool creative tactic to like let the audience sort of like get involved in the storytelling and all this stuff. But sometimes it's done like way too fucking much. And I think this show is an example of that, because I was more confused throughout the course of this show, or this season of the show, to where like there were points where I like wasn't even enjoying it because I felt personally like I couldn't even like experience it because I'm sitting there kind of like trying to fucking figure everything out and like piece things together. So I think for me, that was my issue with the show. I didn't dislike it as a whole. I would definitely watch season 2, and you know, it definitely made me curious as to what's going to happen. I just hope they kind of like pull the reins back a little bit and
Me
like
too.
tell a bit more of a like a solid story, I guess would make sense to say.
Yeah, they can iron out some more of the questionables, but there was some like the stuff that frustrated me was like Cecilia Royal's wife, like some of her actions, like okay, there's a dead baby bear on your lawn, and you go and dig a hole and you're gonna bury it, but then you're not gonna bury it and you're gonna put it in the barn, and then you're gonna stick your hand out and you're gonna make the dead bear bite down on your hand to break the skin. Like what even was that and why? Like
Well,
there's no
Well,
explanation.
maybe that was like a law thing where if you know, like if you kill animals, sometimes you get like fined for it or something. I don't know. Maybe she was trying to make it like the thing attacked her, so she had a right to kill it or
Yeah.
something. Like I don't know.
Okay. Yeah, that's actually a good thought process.
the way
don't know,
I
though.
took it was a little bit deeper.
Oh shit.
Well, she's having a crisis because she's really the
Yes.
one sort of like holding the family together in a sense. She's like
Oh,
very
100%,
religious.
dude.
It's
Yeah.
her family. So she's really doing like
She's questioning her faith.
she's questioning her faith. She's questioning her family because they've obviously fucking murdered somebody and covered it up. So
Oh,
like,
man.
so she's having like this big crisis. The way I took the things, I was very confused too. I'm like, why the fuck is she like pretending it bit her? It almost seemed to me as it was just like a way to feel. Does that make
Oh,
sense?
man.
Yeah. That's
can see
a
it.
good thought process as well. But yeah, I don't know.
But again, a lot of the stuff that this show showcases is very like question marky. Like there's never really a solid answer to anything.
Right.
So I think
and
from
the whole guy that's talking about the mastodons, like what?
I don't even
Like,
remember.
he knows something. It's like he knows.
Yeah,
But
but it was just like weird. Like, yeah, this guy saw some mastodons. So what are you gonna do about that if you become sheriff? And
Oh,
it's like he
right.
was alluding to like he
and
knows
then she's
some
like, "I'll go
weird-
check it out." And he's like, "Oh, you're gonna get elected." And you're like, "What? What is this guy's angle?" What the
I don't
fuck
even
is this
remember
shit?
that, but now that I do, there is so there are plenty of people experiencing some sort of like time
Right.
things.
Yeah.
So
Phenomenon.
yeah, all
The
right. Well,
great-
And the
great
CGI
mountain.
was a little cheesy. Like it was
I mean,
good
whatever, it's a
sometimes,
television
but,
show.
Like, yeah, I know.
Yeah.
I mean,
I've
listen,
seen cheesier, but
listen.
it was all animals, and I get why they have to do that because you're not going to find a herd of buffalo that big anywhere. So
Yeah, they should just bring in a fucking entire herd of buffalo for the show. No,
Right.
listen, we all saw The Expanse go from like fucking like elementary school fucking play set design to like insane fucking production value from
That's true.
season to season. So it's clear that Amazon, when they got a hit on their hands, they'll fucking throw money at it.
Yeah.
So we'll see what happens with this show. The CGI didn't really bother me much. It was just mainly the storytelling, which was just purposefully ambiguous in a lot of ways.
Right.
Again, not to say I didn't enjoy it, but I didn't like fully enjoy it the way that I think I would have had the story been a little bit more like, I don't even know how to describe it.
Like fleshed out.
Not even fleshed out, because I get it. You got to like draw people in for season 2, and like you slowly but surely start answering questions. But it was just like, it felt like very all over the place. Like I don't. It's probably a personal thing. I was just spending way more time like trying to figure out like what the fuck was going on, and by the time the show ended, I was like, oh, I kind of like missed a lot of stuff because I was in my own head about it. But it's sitting at IMDb with a 7.2. I would probably give it like a 6 for season 1, 6.5 maybe, if I'm being gracious.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'd
that
give it a
sounds about
6.
right. That sounds about right. The
6
show
is
has-
across the board.
Yeah. The show has so many scenes where you think like, oh, okay, it's about to go off. And then, oh no, it cuts to another scene. I'm like, what the fuck? This was the perfect end scene. Like shows normally go off here and you just give us some more.
Mhm. What's up, people? Dan here. Just to remind you that if you enjoyed the video, to please go ahead and hit the like button. It really helps us out. and it lets us know that we're doing an okay job. If you want to be notified for more videos like this, hit the subscribe button, and if you're feeling extra spicy, hit that little bell button down below. Give it a little tickle.